This is Matthew here. I am doing my first, I think this is the first time I've done a live comic, which means a comic that's, floppy and on paper as opposed to just on the, the digital thing, that app, that service, Comixology. Anyway, so real quick, here is Qui-Gon going into a vision. This is from Star Wars Age of Republic. Sorry, I should show that, I guess. Qui-Gon, Age of Republic. So I'm very excited about this. Qui-Gon Jinn is absolutely my favorite Jedi. I read this. I don't know how long it took me. Not that that really matters. But basically, the key thing I want to focus on is when Qui-Gon goes into this, this structure here, which seems to have light and dark side elements to it as far as reflected in the physicality of the foliage, let's say. He goes into this seat here, which you can barely see because the shadow of my phone and everything right there. And he sits himself in it, and he has a vision. And immediately, the first thing I like the most about this is the fact that his face and skin becomes textured, and this carries throughout the vision. And to me, it feels like he's tapping into, connecting, merging with the roots of those plants. I mean, because these plants are very viney. They're like thorns, right? And to me, it just communicates that he's like connecting to the earth or the planet and what's there. I don't know who these randos are that he has killed in his vision by fighting, but what I love the most about this one is the way that him fighting over the whole page, it's like connecting the borders and gutters, and I don't know all the technical terms for the comics, but like his lightsaber and his body, the way they're blocking, like the way they show the action and the way they block it out, basically makes the separations for all the different images in the artwork. And I thought that was a really unique way to show things, a really neat perspective. Gosh, that was the best way to show this. Anyway, I thought it was just, like I said, it was really neat. It's very a very unique and creative way to do things. I'm sure it's probably been done before, something similar, but I'm not versed in comics like other people are, so I couldn't tell you for sure this has been done before. So I'm just gonna flip around a little bit. So I'll say, what I will say about this is I really liked the art. I really liked all of Qui-Gon's dialogue. He seemed, I was doing my best Liam Neeson voice, so over here it's, no! Anyway, I like the artwork. It felt like Qui-Gon the character. And basically the gist of it is that he has his vision after talking to Yoda, after going on this mission where he rescues this official from this planet. It doesn't really matter the details. And the point is that she calls him a warrior, and Yoda comes to him. He's like, hey, you're troubled. What's going on? Is it because you had to run and you were called a coward? And he's like, no. What worries me is that I was called a warrior. And Jedi aren't supposed to be warriors. We're about finding balance and keeping peace and defending lives. And this official he was protecting and took off her planet and brought to Coruscant, he told her, like, hey, I'm taking you away. And I'm taking you away to Coruscant. And he ultimately tells her, so you can find allies, because this is a fight you're going to have on your own, or there's a conflict basically on her world, and people on her world are willing to kill her. They say either by her consent or by the shedding of her blood, and they meant the literal shedding of her blood. I thought they meant that they would kill her or get her off planet, get her out of the way, basically, and then they would be able to do this thing they want to do. But that's not the case. It sounds like they literally need to shed her blood or get her consensual word to be given to them, and then they can do this thing that she doesn't want them doing. And that is a little silly, but maybe it's part of their honor culture. I mean, it seems silly, but maybe it's part of their honor culture or whatever, or just their culture. But it does present the opportunity for Qui-Gon to be able to run away, and for her to chastise him and criticize him and tell him that he should have given in to like wholesale slaughter to save her, and to basically use his might to make her right. And I thought it was really interesting that Qui-Gon doesn't want to do that. He wants to be a peacekeeper and to find another way out of this situation besides violence, because he's got a line in here about how violence violent seed sows the seeds of the dark side. And I thought that was really interesting because he, in the end, tells her that he's going to help her find allies who have gone through similar things on their planets, on Coruscant. And that they will return to the planet when they have the allies. But I don't know if that's because he doesn't want to engage in the violence himself, so he's saying, well, if you find these allies, they'll engage in the violence and have the war basically over this dispute with the other people or the other tribe on your planet. Or is he suggesting that by him pulling back, pulling out, not committing the violence himself, and then pushing this lady towards, or guiding her towards having conversations with people who've gone through similar experiences as her, that will lead to her finding a way without violence or just finding a different way, because she basically thinks it's kill or be killed. And there's Obi-Wan is a Padawan in here, and he basically does like an extraction to get them out of there before they all die, or before, Qui-Gon and the lady either get killed or he has to kill these other guys. And Obi-Wan mentioned something about how the negotiations went, and he said, well, there's not much room to negotiate when your options are to chop down a tree or to not chop it down. Which, I mean, that makes sense. That's such a hard, harsh, binary choice. It's either yes or no. Where is the room for debate on something like that? But maybe the moral, or I wonder if part of the moral of the story is that when you step back and make room for other possibilities, things that you didn't think could happen before can end up happening, and it can be for the better. Now that might be the moral or the lesson here, and it might not be. I don't know. I think something around that is a good thing to take away from this as far as moral instruction or whatever is concerned. But I'm not sure. I think what was good about it was that it was written vaguely enough that you could take that away from it, but you could also take away other things. And they kind of need to, because, I don't know who wrote this. Let's see. Hauser, Smith, Wong, and Tartaglia. I am not familiar with any of these names other than Smith and Wong and Doogie Howser. No, like Smith and Wong are, common names and last names. So I really don't know how to take that. But, so I guess what I'm really saying is I have no context for who these people are and what their involvement is with Star Wars or with Marvel. So I can't really say one way or another, how good or bad was this. I liked it overall. I liked it. The message is unclear, and I don't know the person personally, so I can't say, oh yeah, this is a really wise, really clever person, and I trust them to come up with a really interesting way to put this moral. But I loved that Qui-Gon is questioning the violence and the warrior status of the Jedi as opposed to embracing it. And Yoda's saying like, yeah, but we're not warriors. And Qui-Gon saying, well, I know we're not supposed to be, but the Republic gets to use us as a weapon. So what we are used for in reality is as much a statement of what we are as the actual statement of this is what we are, which is true. And I really like Qui-Gon's way of looking at things, that you can't just have everything be skin deep and say, well, we say we're peacekeepers, therefore we are no matter what we do. It's your actions that determine who you are. Just like, your focus determines your reality. I guess your actions determine your mindset, maybe, or like your ethics. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling on, just talking about generic or general Star Wars stuff and Qui-Gon stuff. I really love Qui-Gon, so I had a lot to say, and I think I said enough about the comic itself. I think the art was really high quality. I wonder what the lead time was on this, because every single page is pretty good. I think the likeness of Qui-Gon is good. I think the action is good and everything. That one page that had the really awesome blocking, I had a lot to say about that, but throughout, how was the composition of every shot everywhere? I really don't know. I really can't say. But anyway, I'm doing more of these Star Wars. There's going to be 9 total, so there should be 8 more. So we'll see how my mind works at analyzing the art as I go forward. Thank you for your time and attention. I'd love to do more of this. Like, share, and subscribe to cheer me on, or give me feedback to make me stronger and smarter. Visit luminousbeings.blog for more. I link everything I do there, so if you want to comment, that's the place where I'll definitely see it.